I don't know about you guys, but I missed you and I missed the book reading. And today's book is called The How of Happiness. Everyone wants happiness, but it requires work, a lot more than average. Many people have tried to answer questions that pertain to true happiness, like what are the meaning and mysteries of happiness? Is it possible to acquire more of it? Can new happiness endure? These foundational questions are necessary if you want to understand what happiness means. Every day, we are saddled with a lot of tasks: family, work, personal goals, and we try to do as much as we can with a point where we become so absorbed in these activities that we forget how to live and intentionally seek happiness. Few people realize that by applying some practical strategies, they can enhance their brain and increase their chances of being happy. Happiness offers Happiness offers a myriad of rewards, not just for you, but for the people around you. The science of happiness is more than just a facade. Trying to be happy is a serious, legitimate, and worthy aim. Results from research suggest that enjoying a real increase in your happiness is, in fact, attainable if you are prepared to do the work. And this summary assembles and interprets the discoveries about how to become happier. This summary assembles and interprets the discoveries about how to become happier, using them as jumping off points to teach skills that you can use to shift to a higher and sustainable level of well-being. It is about how to become a happier person, supplying you with a road map backed by the results of thousands of research participants. The key to happiness does not lie in your genes. It begins with changing what you do and how you think. People tend to look for happiness in the wrong places. They often look for the things that they believe they often look for the things that they believe would make a massive difference in their lives. According to scientific research, these things make only a little difference. So, while you think a relationship or more flexibility at work and weight loss will make you happy, you're overlooking the real source of personal happiness and well-being. Excuse me. National representative samples of American adults indicate that 54% are moderately mentally healthy but lack enthusiasm about life and are not actively engaged with the world. This explains why a wide range of people feel the desire to be happier. In a study at the University of Pennsylvania, Professor Martin taught a single happiness enhancing strategy to severely depressed people. Within 15 days, their depression lifted from severely depressed to mildly or moderately depressed, and 94% of them experienced relief. Happiness is an important goal, one that you have every right to pursue. Sonia Lyubomirsky, Ken Sheldon, and David Schkade in January 2001 sought to prove that lasting happiness was possible and identified the most critical factors that determine happiness. There are critical and three factors that actually determine happiness, and each one of them play a different percentage. Number one, circumstances. Believe it or not, circumstances is only responsible for 10% of how happy you are at any time. Your current situation is only 10% responsible for how happy you are at any time. The set point. The set point is 50%. Some people are born with a particular happiness set point that has its origin in genes. This governs how happy a person will be throughout their life, which is a high number, 50%, half. But there's another 40%, and that 40% is what we call the intentional activity. Your behavior also influences your happiness. The key to happiness lies not in changing your genetic makeup or circumstances, but in your daily intentional activities. If you desire greater happiness, you need to devote time and commitment to search for it. Doing this involves making permanent changes that require effort and dedication every day of your life. Nobody is born with lasting happiness. It is your responsibility to keep creating it for yourself every day. Human happiness lies on a continuum or a numerical scale that ranges from very low to very high. Everyone fits somewhere on that scale, and it is critical to find out where they may be. The increasingly individualistic culture leaves everyone all alone to manage everyday stresses and problems. This compels them to blame only themselves for their failures. Job insecurity and less social support from the family also contribute to the prevalence of depression. Depression requires you to see a mental health professional for help as soon as possible. There are three major myths about happiness that also contribute to making you feel unsatisfied with yourself. Three myths. Happiness must be found. That's a myth. People believe that happiness must be found somewhere beyond human reach. This is wrong because if you are not happy today, you won't be happy tomorrow unless you take action. Happiness lies in changing your circumstances. This is wrong because the elements that can make you happy are with you right now and are waiting to be taken advantage of. You either have it or you don't. That's the third myth. Growing research demonstrates that you can overcome your genetic programming and focus on things that can make you happy. As significant as major life events are to each person, studies suggest that they determine only a tiny percentage of your happiness. So, whether you are young or old, or live in the most expensive house or a shared apartment, your chances of being happy and becoming happier are the same. Researchers studied the attitudes of 12,000 first year college students at elite colleges in 1976 when they were 18 years old, on average, and then measured their life satisfaction at 37. The results showed that those who had made money their primary goal were less satisfied with their lives. Materialism distracts people from relatively more meaningful and joyful aspects of their lives, such as nurturing relationships with family and enjoying the present. Beauty is only skin deep, only skin deep, and cannot guarantee your lasting happiness. Just like material possessions, beauty does not make a person happier. But more people are remaking their appearances every year. Remaking their appearances. Most people report being satisfied with their post surgery physical appearances. Most people report being satisfied with their post-surgery physical appearances, but only for a short time. Beauty is not scientifically associated with happiness. And becoming objectively more beautiful will not make you happier, but coming to believe that you are beautiful without any external assistance is another thing entirely. Research suggests that this may be one of many happiness boosters. The genes coding for your happiness set point will always be a part of you. But for them to be fully expressed, they must encounter the appropriate environment. One powerful environmental factor that can determine whether people who have a low set point for happiness yield to depression is stress. One powerful environmental factor that can determine whether people who have a low set point for happiness yield to depression is stress. Everyone is born with happiness set point that is influenced by the environment. Stressful life experiences like being evicted from your apartment or losing a pregnancy can trigger depression in some people, but not in others. This is so because depression is associated with a particular gene called the 5-HTTLPR. It comes in two forms, the long and the short. The short is undesirable to have because it rids the brain of a substance needed to fend off depressive symptoms. Psychology professor Avshalom Caspi tracked the presence of this gene in a sample of 847 infants born in New Zealand and was able to identify that those who had this bad gene recorded more cases of depression. This led to the conclusion that stressful experiences led to depression only among those participants who carried the short of the 5-HTTLPR gene. You are unique in many ways. Understand yourself and determine what methods are best for you. If 40% of your happiness is rooted in an intentional activity, then you need to find the activities that can help you reach your desired level of well-being. In truth, there is no magic strategy to make you happier. Everyone has unique needs, interests, values, resources, and inclinations that predispose them to put effort into and benefit more from some strategies than others. By establishing which happiness strategies suit you best, you have won half the battle and are on your way to greater happiness. But choosing the right activity can be a difficult task if you don't use these methods. What are the methods? Fit with the source of unhappiness. Each individual is unhappy for a unique set of reasons. While some cannot obtain much pleasure from daily activities, others are too traumatized from past experiences to join in social events. This means the pleasure-lacking individual may benefit from savoring events and the traumatized person from learning coping skills. The method number two is fit with your strength. Identify your strength, talents, or goals that help you identify the different ways that you can derive happiness. For instance, an achievement oriented person may do well at pursuing set goals or competitive sports as a way to boost happiness. In contrast, a creative person may choose to express gratitude through painting or writing. Method number three, fit with lifestyle. Choose activities that can be adapted to your needs and lifestyle. For example, if your life is hectic, you don't need additional activities that make it more hectic. You can tailor your happiness to fit your personality and way of life. Aiming for greater happiness is no small endeavor. It requires effort and commitment, and selecting an appropriate activity to undertake increases the chances of success. On the other hand, if the wrong strategy is chosen, it is likely to fail, and you may give up altogether. The more you focus on the positive aspect of a situation, the more solutions are visible to you. The expression of a gratitude is an important strategy for achieving happiness. Emerging research has drawn attention to its multiple benefits. Consistently grateful people are relatively happier, more energetic, more hopeful, and experience more frequent positive emotions. Keep a gratitude journal. Choose a time of day when you can reflect and write a minimum of 3 things for which you are currently grateful. Instead of writing, you could choose a fixed time simply to contemplate each of your objects of gratitude and reflect on why you are grateful. Martin Seligman and his colleagues tested the benefits of expressing gratitude by investigating a gratitude visit exercise that was completed over 1 week. They also offered alternative happiness exercises. The participants who did gratitude visits showed the most significant boost in the entire study. Another happiness activity to try is to cultivate optimism. Looking at the bright side helps you to make out the positive side of your situation. You can practice you can practice optimism by keeping a diary where you write out your idea of your best possible self. This puts your optimism to practice. You can also identify your long-range goals and break them into sub-goals. Looking back at these goals can motivate you to work harder when pessimistic thoughts come. Many people believe that when they feel down, they should try to focus inwardly and evaluate their feelings and situations to attain self-insight and find solutions that might ultimately relieve unhappiness. Studies have shown that, on the contrary, overthinking ushers in a host of adverse consequences. It sustains sadness, fosters negatively biased thinking, saps motivation, and interferes with concentration and initiative. In our lives, we can't help noticing when other people are doing better than us. And these comparisons can be useful because they inspire you to strive for ambitious goals or to improve weaknesses. They can also make us feel better about our plight. Those who pay much attention to social comparisons find themselves chronically vulnerable, threatened, and insecure. If you find yourself constantly overthinking and comparing yourself to others, try to distract yourself when those thoughts come up and dodge overthinking triggers. Your social connections are the best investments you can ever make. The importance of social connections to our health and well being cannot be overemphasized. An excellent way to improve your relationships is to practice kindness. Research conducted by Sonia showed that people who committed acts of kindness throughout the study experienced a significant elevation in their happiness. That's amazing. Start being kind every day. Do act of kindness, no matter how big or small it is. Still, this boost was reported only by those who showed a lot of generosity in a single day. Evidence in this study suggested that optimal timing is critical for a happiness activity to be productive. You need to ensure this by selecting an activity that fits you. Being kind and generous leads you to perceive others positively and fosters a heightened sense of interdependence and cooperation in your social community. Kind acts relieve guilt, stress, or discomfort over others' difficulties and encourage a sense of awareness and appreciation for your good fortune. Your kindness leads other people to like and appreciate you. They will also reciprocate in your times of need and can help you satisfy a basic human need for connecting with others. This is the whole mean what God wants us to do, believe it or not, is to be kind to each other. Try by training yourself to do 3 acts of kindness every day. 3 different ones, no matter how big or small they are. Do it between yourself and God. This is what we are meant to do. This is what God wants us to do. This is when you actually feel that you are yourself. Hugging is an excellent, intimate booster that can relieve stresses, diminish pain, and make you feel closer to someone. Hugging. That's simple. In a study at Pennsylvania State University, students who hugged more people became much happier. Even if your relationships are already stable, there is always room to strengthen and enjoy them. Try to make time for others by creating opportunities for you to get together with friends. Communicate as often as you can and offer support as much as possible. We are not doing this anymore, unfortunately. Maybe now we have the pandemic or this, that's an exception. But living in this world of social media, everybody sitting behind the screen, no more hugging. No more this like personal and direct connection. That is very important for us as a human being. There is no such thing as the perfect life. No such thing as the perfect life. To live a fulfilling life, make the right choices. Life is always filled with stress. Life is always filled with stress, adversity, or crisis. Amid challenges, many people become unsure, fearful, or confused. Some people even have such a long lasting reaction to a trauma that they are unable to return to their usual selves for a long time. Becoming a happier person means rising above your happiness set point if a terrible event or problem has undermined that happiness baseline and is absorbing all your resources and attention. Your priority is to cope. Construing benefit in trauma involves seeing some value or gain, a silver lining if you must, in your loss or negative life event. Coping is what people do to reduce the stress caused by an adverse event or situation. It can be divided into two types: problem focused and emotion focused. So we said people cope when they try to reduce the stress caused by an adverse event or situation. And it can be divided into two types: problem focused and emotion focused. Some people tend to cope by being problem focused. They try to take the situation into their own hands, to act on it, resolve it somehow, and make a bad thing go away. Emotion focused coping comes to play when you are facing an uncontrollable situation. Some coping strategies involve behavioral and cognitive strategies, such as seeking emotional support from people close to you or involving yourself in pleasant activities. Both coping styles are valuable, depending on the situation and the person. An excellent way to cope with painful experiences especially the ones that happened in the past, is to forgive. Forgiveness involves suppressing one's motivations for avoidance and revenge and replacing them with more positive and benevolent attitudes, feelings, and behaviors. Forgiveness does not necessarily mean the re-establishment of a relationship. This is very important. We spoke about this before many times, and people ask me, that does not mean re-establishing of a relationship. You know you've forgiven someone when you experience a change in your feelings toward them, such that your desire to do good instead of harming that person has increased. Forgiveness can deepen your sense of shared humanity, strengthen your relationships, and draw you closer to others. To practice forgiveness effectively, you need to appreciate the times you have been forgiven in the past and also forgive people for the things that you blame yourself for. Also, write a letter of forgiveness to a person that has hurt you. Write a letter of forgiveness to a person that has hurt you. You don't have to send it. It is just a way to let go of your bitterness and anger. Did you know, according to Forbes, more than half of the USA population is unhappy with their jobs? More than half of the US population is unhappy with their jobs. I could not agree more, to be honest with you. I am thankful for my job, and I'm happy still because no matter what I do in life, I enjoy it and I give my best, and I love to talk to people and interact and help or whatever. But I am not happy in a way that I am satisfied and I feel that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'd be happy and I appreciate you guys if you like this live broadcast. For I see people comment, 6, 7 people, but I see only 3 likes. There is no time like the present. Live in it and make exciting memories. Flow is the process of intense absorption and involvement with the present moment. Coined by Mihaly, flow means you are fully concentrating and unaware of yourself. When in flow, people report feeling strong and efficient and are at the peak of their abilities. A happy life is characterized by flow. And the key to creating this flow is to establish a balance between skill and challenges. If the challenges of a situation overwhelm your level of skill, you will feel anxious. And on the other hand, if the activity is not challenging enough, you will become bored. Once you train yourself to obtain flow in as many circumstances as possible, you will have a happier life. Flow is good for you because it is inherently pleasurable, fulfilling, and rewarding. The experience of flow leads you to be more involved in life, to enjoy activities, to have a sense of control, and to feel a strong sense of self. All these factors fill life with meaning and lead to happiness. You can increase your flow experiences by controlling your attention and focusing on whatever task you are doing at any moment. Also, be open to new experiences by transforming routine tasks into something more stimulating. But be careful not to get too engrossed in an activity to the point that you miss out on other vital aspects of your life. Your ability to savor positive experiences in life is one of the essential ingredients of happiness. You savor the past by reminiscing about the good old days. You savor the present by wholly living in it, being mindful of and relishing the present moment, and you appreciate the future by anticipating upcoming events. All these are elements of upcoming positive events. Writing can help you describe a memorable experience or an exciting time in the present. Still, it also prompts you to systematically analyze an event by breaking it down into its parts and reducing the pleasure associated with it. It is even possible to evoke negative emotions such as guilt or worry when you savor through writing. So instead of doing this, reflect, relish, and share your experience with others. What is the conclusion from this beautiful and very useful book? It's called The How of Happiness. Happiness does not happen by luck or a knock of good fortune. It requires consistent and honest effort. It can be anything you want it to be. Understanding this will help you pursue it more fervently. Activities such as looking on the bright side, savoring the moment, practicing forgiveness, and striving for essential life goals make a difference in your happiness. It is always a good idea to make a habit. It may be difficult at first, especially when you are around people that are always happy, but it is not impossible. With time and determination, you can develop the same habits for yourself. You find that following the 12 happiness activities and the 5 steps to making these activities work for you will open your mind to the freedom that comes with happiness. Everyone deserves to be happy. And even if you're depressed, you can get better once you seek help and intentionally begin the journey to finding happiness. This happiness program is not meant to replace established treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy and antidepressant medication. It can only act as a strong complement which can help you feel better sooner. Meditating, expressing gratitude, and pursuing significant life goals can make you a happy person only when you tailor them to your lifestyle and personality. So even when you try to practice these activities, understand that it is not a one-size-fits-all strategy. You need to take the time to find out which ones work for you. It is never too late to begin to be happier, never too late to try. It is never too late to be what you might have been. Try this. Write down what you are grateful for and notice how much positivity you experience. Also, make a list of your goals with actionable small steps and begin to work on them. Thank you very much, guys, for everybody who been listening. Thank you for everybody who's sharing these live broadcasts with their friends on their social media. Thank you for everybody who's watching the replay. It was really nice to be back. God bless you all. I will see you later on, if the Lord permits, with another book reading. Have a blessed one.